Hey, greetings. My name is Coach Mark, and as a educational consultant, motivational speaker, as well as transformational coach, I know the power of learning and sharing those learned experiences with others. I recently had the opportunity to travel to South Africa, Johannesburg, and Cape Town. And here are the top 10 things that I learned on my vacation. All right, here's lesson number one. So when I got to South Africa, I had an opportunity to take a tour in Johannesburg. And this is where I really learned most of my information. And this first thing really underpins all of the other items that I'm going to be sharing with you. So I really learned about classism or classes. In South Africa, there is still this perpetrated mentality that's running through every aspect of life, and it's classes. So at the very top, you have your white and Europeans. Right below that, you have what is called colored. Now, did I say colored? Yes, I said colored. Colored, which reflects anyone that is not African descent. So as an African American with a lighter skin tone, I would be considered colored. Anyone that has mixed races, Indians, would be considered colored. And then at the very bottom of the totem pole, as it relates to classes, is Africans. How is it that this is your own country? This is the land that your ancestors built and was bred on, and you're the third class citizens. Yes. So these classes are reflected in every part of life. You know, if you're considered an African, a native of the land, from any of the tribes, you're at the very low bottom of the totem pole, if you will. This reflects in how you're treated. It's reflected in the places that you live. It's reflected in what you're provided. You know, when I went to see Constitutional Hill, where Mandela was held and so many prisoners, it was even reflected in the prisons. Here in the U.S., it's a phantom thought because everyone in prison gets treated the same way. They get served the same food. You know, they have cells. Maybe if you go to federal prison, it's a little different. But prison is prison. There, even based on your classes, you were given certain types of foods. If you were white or European, you were in the same jail or prison, but you got better food. And if you were colored, then you got a different type of food. And if you were African descent, indigenous African, you got the worst. I mean, similar to what we call porridge. So as I went on my journey and experienced Johannesburg more so, this is where I got the rich history of South Africa. I really learned and saw how, depending on what class and what you were considered, depending on where you lived, what you had access to. And while we're far removed, we're in 2022, it seems to be, those classes are still reflective. The residue of apartheid, which we'll be talking about later, is still lingering. There are now neighborhoods, or what I like to call townships, that are broken up. Townships were the very lowest end, so Africans and those that didn't have would be placed in these townships. You were in a neighborhood if you were colored, in a different neighborhood, and then if you were white or European, you had your place to live in. You're probably saying that's no different than what's reflected in the U.S. and other countries. True, but to see it up close and personal in South Africa was very eye-opening to me. And so now, coloreds and are mixing into other neighborhoods. We like to call that, in some cases, gentrification. But you're seeing the breaking down of that after apartheid and so forth. But classism is still reflective and running through the DNA of South Africa. So that's my first lesson that I learned while vacationing in South Africa.